Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRF Bets race of the day for Thursday, October the 4th. Race number 5 at Presque Downs. It's 100 grander. It's the Fitz Dixon Jr. Memorial Juvenile Stakes, one of 2 stakes races on the evening at Presque. Bet them both with a new DRF Bets account. Sign up, get a 300% deposit match. It is easy. Bets.drf.com is where you need to go for all of the information. Let's meet the field of 2-year-olds getting set to go 6.5 furlongs over the Tapeta surface at Presque, and you can access free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, and the first 3 horses we're going to talk about, Matt, they're fillies taking on the boys. The one, Sexyama, goes turf to synthetic as she makes her all-weather track debut. Might have tried a little bit too tough last time out, might not have liked that unique Kentucky Downs course, and might not have cared for the mile distance.
Yeah, I think it could just be a little bit of everything there. Throw it all in, and perhaps she just didn't appreciate any of it. That run 2 starts back at Laurel, strong enough, and you can even say that about the runs 3 and 4 starts back. Every one of her turf sprints has been respectable. She hasn't been awesome, but she has run decently enough. The question for her, along with a number of these other girls and boys in here, is going to be, can they handle the synthetic?
Well, sometimes that good turf form can successfully translate to synthetic. She's a half to a multiple stakes placed runner on the dirt named Cowboy Cool. She was in, I guess, a decent field last time out. That Mysticality ran really well in winning the juvenile fillies and then was just overmatched in the Miss Griot last week against Newspaper of Record. The runner-up came back to run 3rd in the Grade 2 Pocahontas, but she was beaten 21 lengths and she only earned a 46 buyer. The 2 is Thunderous Gem. She is fast out of the gate. She's run twice on the Poly track at Arlington Park, and she's stakes placed now. Might have went a little bit too fast last time out in the Lassie.
It's kind of how I'm looking at it. Timeform US had that opening quarter color-coded red, meaning it was fast and perhaps working against the pace setters. And look, she was beat by, I think, a pretty talented horse. There's 2 horses exiting that race that'll run in the Alcibiades at Keeneland on Friday. My only concern, and I don't want to say concern, just a question, can she sit off of a horse? Because if there's a scenario where she doesn't make the front, she's yet to show, she's yet to even have an opportunity to sit off of a horse. She's just gone out there in each of her first 2. Having said that, I think she is the speed nearest the rail, and I think they probably just got to send her.
And she earned a legit figure in her career debut, a 75. Not bad at all for an August 2-year-old. She finished ahead of a next out winner in that Lassie. The 5th place finisher coming back to win on turf at Churchill Downs with a 75 buyer. She's a half to the stakes winning turf router Thunder Estimate. The number 3, Amy Farrah Fowler, has made a big bang thus far in her career. 5 starts, never out of the exacta. 2 starts back, she was in against the boys in Delta Express, and it looked like she had a big shot at it, turning into the stretch, and then she just started lugging in and out, and it probably cost her the race. Nice to see her get back on the beam last time out from rating just off of the pace.
Yeah, I like the tactical speed that she brings to this. I suppose my only concern at this point, through 5 lifetime starts, she has improved, but slightly from a speed figure standpoint. You're going to have to get another forward move here. And also, it is just one of those things. I know she's 3 for 4 at Presque, but I wonder what happens now against the best horses she's ever faced. And if you believe that 5-1 morning line, to me, that just seems light.
Formulator fact, though, for her trainer Ron Potts over the past 4 years, 2-year-old synthetic sprinters that won their last start and now jump into non-graded stakes action, 30% winners, a $2.23 ROI. This one's by Astrology out of a stakes place turf router. The 4 successful zip, really for me, the only question is the surface. I like the cutback in distance from a mile to 6.5. I thought she ran really well in that sapling last time out. The beaten favorite, but it's hard to make up ground at Monmouth usually, and especially on September the 1st. I thought that was a speed favoring track. She didn't have a great trip. She's got a nice pedigree. I think she's going to come running late.
Yeah, I was going to say, it'll be interesting to see what kind of trip she works out in here, because like you say, she was a little bit farther off of it in the stretch out in distance, which it's almost counterintuitive, because you would have expected her to be more forwardly placed stretching out in distance. Now you get the turn back. I think she's going to be a little bit closer to the pace. I'm also just a little bit curious about the morning line. You note that she's been betting each of her 3 starts, and she's 8-1 on the morning line. I just have a hard time imagining she goes off that high.
I think turning back's going to be her game. The dam's a half to Big League, who was a Grade 2 place sprinter on the dirt. Second dam Grade 3 stakes winner sprinting on the dirt. The 5 is Big Drink of Water, a perfect 3 for 3 on synthetic surfaces. He is the winner of the Arlington, Washington Futurity. And listen, he pressed a legitimate pace last time out, took over with no sweat, and then was able to finish in rather slow time. One of those fast early, slow late races, but he earned a big fig at Woodbine 2-backs.
Yeah, and look, if you believe that 81 that he earned in the Victoria, he's probably just too much for the rest of this field. The only concern I have is that 81's kind of an outlier right now. The other two races bookending that, you've got low 60s. So, I mean, there's a scenario where if you think he runs a 64 or a 65, he can be had at a short price. If you believe the 81, he's probably just going to run away with this thing.
Second dam was a graded take winner on the dirt sprinting. The 6's Baytown Jimbo. This horse scored last time out at this distance on the turf at Kentucky Downs, pulling off an upset to the tune of $50. The question here is a synthetic surface, but again, it was nice to see last time out a gelding that had shown speed in his prior 3 outings, rate and finish. That could be useful here.
Yeah, and I really think that part of it was just getting back to shorter distances. You'll note that those 3 races prior, they'd all come at Ellis Park going long, and he just got tired at the end of each one of them. Maybe this shorter distance is going to be better suited for him. The question, again, remains, can he handle the synthetic surface? There's no reason to think, based on what he's already accomplished on the turf. I know he's only 1-run race, but he's run decently enough in those other 3. I kind of feel like he's going to be able to handle it, and if you believe the 20-1 morning line, maybe he's an interesting big long shot.
The 7 Delta Express at 9-2 on the morning line is yet to be threatened in 3 lifetime starts. He's won all of those races easily, including that aforementioned win over Amy Farrah Fowler in the McDermott at Presque Downs. Now, in that race, he took advantage of kind of a moderate pace and the fact that the runner-up got all goofy in the stretch. But if you look at the time form color coding for the race 2 starts back, this horse showed some legitimate gas and kept going at 5.5 furlongs. Drawing outside the other speed, I wonder if this time form pace projector changes a bit, and we do see horses like the 2 Thunderous Gem, the 5 Big Drink of Water out there on the lead. Delta Express won't be too far behind, but maybe he won't actually be in front.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it in the past. You have to handicap the pace projector as well, and I just think from a race shape standpoint, if you are the connections of Thunderous Gem down toward the inside, I kind of feel like your best opportunity to win is to go. And if you do that, then all of a sudden, whether it's Big Drink of Water, whether it is Delta Express, the outer posts, I think that just kind of plays into their hands a little bit, where, you know what, we can play the draw and see what happens. If the 2 doesn't go, sure, we can be more forward. If the 2 is intent on going, we can take up the perfect stalking position.
The number 8 is Take Cash or Gold, who just seems to be improving with each and every start. A winner around 2 turns last time on dirt at Thistledown. Now he's going to try synthetic for the first time. He's won sprinting, he's won routing, he's won on the lead, he's won from off of the pace. Do you think he found himself when beating a couple of next out winners last time out due to the 2 turns, or is he just getting good?
Well, I think it's going to be kind of a hit or miss sort of situation here, because I liked everything about that most recent run, where I just thought he was game and determined to go and get the horse that was in front of him, and the 4th place finisher was the next out winner with a 58 buyer. So look, he is a little bit on the slow side. The question, again, I sound like a broken record, whether he can handle the synthetic surface or not, that's really my only concern, because I liked everything about the way that he did it visually. Like you say, he's won in multiple fashions already throughout his career. It's just now more a matter of, is he going to be able to handle the surface? I
know that the 9 Land of the Pharaohs was beaten as part of an odds-on coupled entry last time out, but this is a really interesting pattern play for trainer Teresa Connolly and Antonio Gallardo. Last year in this race, they sent out Driven by History, who went from route to sprint and pulled off the upset. This colt might get some pace to attack. He's been bet in most of his starts, and you can say he's been a bit underwhelming with only 1 lifetime win, but I wonder if the race shape here works, and that last race, that route race, was a prep for this sprint.
Yeah, it's possible, and I think the other thing that's fascinating about a horse like this is really kind of a speed figure angle where you're going to need to make a call. Do you believe the buyers, or do you believe the time form ratings? Because if you believe the time form ratings, this horse has a puncher's chance here at 15-1. If you believe the buyers through 5 lifetime starts simply too slow, I'm inclined to think that the time form numbers are slightly more accurate in an instance like this. And if you believe that on the turn back, like you say, for all the reasons, these connections, they did this successfully last year at 15-1. He's interesting.
The 10 is Mr. Chocolate Chip. No surprise that this horse handled the synth, as his dam was a stakes-winning turf router. That was a nice performance, turning back in distance, although it looked like he did get a nice pace to rally into. I think that winner is okay, going gate to wire on fast splits. Mr. Chocolate Chip might get another good pace scenario, but he has to improve from a buyer's standpoint. He's a little light.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's really just what it boiled down to for me. I don't have any real knock about that most recent start, other than the fact that he's just slow.
Crosstown Shootout might actually have the best synthetic pedigree. This dam was third in the Presque Downs Masters, a Grade 2 stakes race here, and has really done nothing wrong in 2 lifetime starts for a pretty underrated trainer. Now, he got a nice setup last time out going 6 furlongs, but who's to say he won't get another one here? He's interesting at 10-1 on the line.
I picked him second. I think the thing I liked most about that most recent start, he broke very sharply, and then he just kind of came to hand. They relaxed mid-pack when things started heating up, and I just thought he finished really well. He was a little bit late with the lead change, but I think there's a lot to like there. If you think he can get this sort of additional little piece of distance, I think he's an interesting player at 10-1.
The 4th filly in the body of the race is the 12 Iva for Wesley Ward, and we've seen Wesley send out fillies to beat the boys all the time. This one is 2 for 2. She's done a little bit of everything. She's won on turf. She's won on dirt. Let's see how she handles the synthetic. Nice pedigree. Daughter of Scat Daddy out of a Grade 3 place turf routing dam. She just destroyed that field at Belterra Park last time out, but it's hard to analyze what she beat. The fig came back low, tough outside post.
Well, she's the kind of horse that I love in a spot like this, not because I like her, but because I think she's going to get bet in here because of the connections. And on paper, she hasn't done anything yet. She's just incredibly slow. I know she's won both of her starts, and look, it's easy to sit here and say, well, she's not fast enough. It's something if you go out and just continue to win. To me, she's the kind of horse that if you want to talk about sort of like a takeout equalizer, I don't want any part of her in here. I hope she gets bet.
Let's take a look at our top selections and who you do want to bet in the Fitz Dixon Jr. Memorial Juvenile Stakes. Take Cash or Gold, the number 8, turning back in distance, half-brother to a stakes-winning dirt router. This one's by Take Charge India. I look at this pedigree and I thought, at first, boy, maybe just improved with distance, but the sprint win 2 starts back makes me think a little bit otherwise now.
But you know what? I mean, I think you bring up an important piece. This horse was also wide in that 2-turn race as well. So maybe he really just did appreciate going longer. It was more so the thing I liked the most was that he's so determined. He went and got the horse. And with the 2-year-olds, that's something that you don't always see. I would imagine he's going to be considerably farther off the pace this time around in this race. I think he's going to go and get something. The question now ultimately comes down to, does he want this sort of surface? If he can handle it at 15-1 on the morning line, I think he's a very interesting play.
Give me numbers.
8, 11, 5, 7.
I'm going to go with Delta Express. Listen, he hasn't done anything wrong. He's won all 3 of his races easily. Now, maybe he'll just get cooked on a fast pace here, but outside of the other couple of speeds, the jock's got options. If he breaks like a rocket, he can go right to the front. If he does not, or someone else really is intent on the lead, he can sit just off. He should be in prime contention turning into the stretch, and at least he's run a fast one over this surface. That last race is 75 buyer. I'm going to go 7-3 in the Fitz Dixon Jr. Memorial Juvenile Stakes, one of 2 stakes races at Presque on Thursday. Bet it with a DRF Bets account. 300% deposit matches yours. Bets.drf.com. An approximate post time for the first leg of the Pick 6, 7:05 Eastern at Presque. Good luck.